to the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast. This is episode number 91, hot off the heels of our first ever live broadcast call-in show episode, which, despite some early, we'll call them technical difficulties, I feel was a resounding success. It was fantastic to hear from our community at large to show what goes, how we make the donuts here while you all are normally sleeping. But that said, tons of big information, big dates, big data, big deadlines coming down the dirt pathway this week. But before we head on down that pathway, I'm going to turn to the 10-inch Cowboy. Ask you, Cowboy, how was your week in the Warzone this week?
Yes, thank you for that lively introduction. Coming off a live episode where we were really flying by the seam of our Levi jeans, and it was really fun, really interesting. My week in the Warzone, bringing it full circle, frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. I'm having a really hard time. I don't know if it's the ping situation at my new household or what, but I'm just not getting the kills that I once had. In pregame lobbies, I'll be shooting people and I'm hitting them, and then it takes a little while to register it, and I'm not sure if that's like a ping situation or what the deal is, but I'm not thrilled with how my gameplay is, how maybe the lobbies are really sweaty. You and I played right before this, and it was a top 5 situation of frustration-ness. So yeah, I've been very frustrated. Gotten to the titanium trials a little bit, very frustrating. Yeah, just frustrated. I don't know another adjective, but I'm frustrated.
Frustration. I certainly can relate. I mean, we just got off a very brief session, albeit, but certainly fueled with frustration, though certainly more so on your side than mine, as I was still racking up kills even against the face of adversity, But definitely, we're at the point in the lifetime, there's a life cycle of a video game. And if you've been around enough games, especially first-person shooters, you've kind of, what I'm talking about. In the early days, Warzone was filled with a wide assortment of players. A lot of them were shitty amateurs like us. But over time, it's been whittled down to only the diamonds now are really in there. The casuals have moved on or whatever, got greener pastures, finally just said, fuck it, I'm giving up. And so it's kind of if you were to go on to Counter-Strike, maybe you played that back in the day and you had some success. If you were to go on that now, years and years later, you're just going to find these, not prodigies, but just psychopaths, so to speak, that just, they run that.
Yes.
And they dominate it. And it's that's what we're going up against now. At least that's how I feel.
Yeah, I feel every time I play and I get killed, it's by a psychopath. That's a good word. There's a lot of psychopaths out there. And I'm just a regular ass amateur that is not a psychopath. And I'm just trying to have a good time, trying to get a couple kills, trying to connect with the community, really. And I feel like I'm being brought into a mental ward full of psychopaths that I'm, trying to have just a regular nice conversation with. And it's not going as swimmingly as I planned. So it's been very frustrating. Again, this word keeps coming back, but it has been frustrating of late.
And I know the folks at Activision or Raven, whomever it is, I think they're aware of that's what's going on. And they're trying their best to kind of give us some avenues to maybe bring, the amateurs, the casuals, the people who play this for fun. That's such a novel idea these days. Wow, I actually play Warzone just for fun, not to create some sense of, dominance or whatever it is, sport, whatever these psychopaths do. But it just doesn't matter. They throw us titanium trials. Maybe the first few rounds we played at titanium trials had some success, but now it's just domination, shit on, they'll throw us rebirth. It's been infiltrated by fucking sweat lords now. Fortune's Keep, same thing. I guess maybe we have plunder, but I'm not trying to play plunder.
I haven't played Plunder in a very long time, and I know there's now, what is it called? Plunder Gold or Golden Plunder. I think it's Golden Plunder. Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it's not about the weapon disability that I have. Plunder was always the game mode where you would go, get your weapons leveled up and you'd focus on something and try to catch up so you could then compete. But now I can't even compete, and I'm running the KGM 40, which I have fully maxed out, and I got the Armaguerra, which I have the top build on, and I'm still not getting the satisfaction, you would say, in the kills and the victories. I'm having a very hard time surviving, just to put it, I guess, as brutally honest as possible. It's been very tricky. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I guess maybe I'm not putting in enough time these days. I got to be sweating at it every single day, but I'm an amateur. Like, we're a marginalized community now in the COD space, and it's getting sad and lonely.
I mean, it's like you said, you got your KGM 40, your Armaguerra, you got like the brand new ice skates, the brand new hockey stick. You go down to the local rink where you used to be able to kind of scrim it up, but now these guys are just like the fucking LA Kings out there, hitting slap shots 120 miles per hour past your face, checking you into the fucking wall where you're just trying to, get in some reps here. That's certainly how it feels. But, enough about our frustrations of today. Let's talk about some frustrations from last week. First, I want to issue two apologies. One is just in general, the technical hiccups we experienced early on. I believe there were some folks, some dedicated, incredible folks, namely Laws of Gravity, who wanted to call in but were unable to due to whatever it is. For next time, I should have specified, a lesson learned. If you want to take part as a caller, you got to log in ideally on a desktop computer with Chrome specifically is mandatory. But thankfully we were able to get some call-ins. So want to issue an apology on that. But secondly is to someone near and dear to the cowboy, and that is the lady 10-inch cowgirl, who I inadvertently, I guess, cut off as she took the time to call in. I misread the situation. I was sweltering, soaked in sweat, and then showered with guilt afterwards. So I know she listens damn every week, every minute, every podcast, one of our biggest fans. So apologies there.
She certainly hangs on to every word that comes out of my mouth, and probably both of us, to be honest. And no, it was the nature of the call-in too. I mean, and it's not just the cowgirl, of course. I want the cowgirl to be feeling very loved and appreciated. But what happens is that, on the platform that we call in through, the hang-up process happens, and then they don't hear the rest of it, so that she didn't get the conversation that unfolded afterwards. So there was a bit of a miscommunication there. But again, it was our first time. We don't know, we're still figuring out the technical aspects, the social aspects, the, existential aspects of a call-in situation. So no fault of your own. I think it was more of a sign of the times and technology. But no, she's doing great. She's about to cook me a big old ribeye steak that we slaughtered earlier. So don't worry about that there, but she's doing fantastic.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, in this case, it was, in fact, our first rodeo, but, no longer. We got thrown off the bull, but you bet your ass we're going to get back on there. We're going to have more of these to come. I had a lot of fun. Again, thank you to those who participated, those who listened after the fact, those who sent us well wishes. We love you all. It was we've been promising that for a while. I was glad to kind of deliver. Next on the agenda is get a custom game, but that brings us now to, speaking of custom games and Warzone and where we're at, some pretty wild news. I know you follow like the news ticker. You're just got your finger on the pulse, so this is not going to be any news to you. I know that, Cowboy.
Oh yeah, no, I know everything. Finger on the pulse. I'm basically writing the news, but please share it with the audience.
But yes, we are, date of this publication, I believe, will be August 22nd, 2022. We said last week, COD Next announced for September. Modern Warfare 2 release date in October. Promised Warzone 2 sometime in the end of the year. So then that 2 months following, I don't know, maybe we got some info to release on that. But that said, we find ourselves now smack dab in this middle of Season 4 Reloaded. Well, guess what? This week they dropped the info for Season 5, which is going to be coming here right around the corner, dropping on August 24th, only 2 days after this episode release. So we are already, I mean, we reloaded, and I feel like we must have blown through that load pretty fast, because now we are in to season 5, which all the info dropped, but the main information here, the big, broad bastard of a here, is that this is going to basically be the last season of Vanguard, and I think of Vanguard Warzone, and I guess in many ways Warzone 1, and kind of like the final chapter on whatever you want to call what we've been through here, Cowboy.
So you're saying this is the last season. Season 5 will be what they're about to release, will carry us to Warzone 2. This is it. This is the last season of Warzone 1. Wow.
They're calling it Season 5 Last Stand is the final season of content for this year. And as we said, if Warzone 2 is coming by the end of this year, then just like you said, that is damn straight, my friend.
Wow. So I guess I'm feeling sad, but I'm also very excited and anxious for Warzone 2. I kind of just want this to be over. And small note, Last Stand, what an original idea. What an original title for the final season. It seems like I've heard The Last Stand 10,000 times in modern pop culture, so I'm not surprised that it's a shitty title.
Yeah, it was probably between Last Stand or like Endgame. But yeah, the main info is kind of, I wasn't sure where to start here. Do we start with the main info drop, or do we start with an aspect that we always touch on, which is the cinematic universe? And I think in this case, let's go to the cinematic universe, which after starting so the Act 1, I would say, which is one of the most, I mean, we could agree, I think probably the most important act in storytelling, arguably, because you got to get off on the right foot. You got to set up the story correctly. They nailed that. Then we got into Act 2 and things kind of started to get crazy. And then somehow we just fucking fell off the rails. I'm not even sure where we are. Are we still in Act 2? They want us to be in Act 3 at this huge culmination of the story, but it's just fucking with Godzilla coming into town and all that. It got lost. Like, those guys, clearly the writers got shifted to another room. They're writing a different fucking story. They don't really care. It kind of almost makes Stitch and Adler Saga seem like Casablanca at this point. But basically, long story short, Cowboy, they released a cinematic here, somewhat teaser. It was like a minute long about season 5. And the main thing is there's like a helicopter landing and then all of these villain-looking dudes walking out of well, guess what? Those are all villains from previous Call of Duty. So they've confirmed coming back are going to be Raul Menendez, who was the antagonist from Black Ops 2, which was released in 2012. Then we have Al-Assad, or I guess I don't know. Then we have Al-Assad, who's from Call of Duty 4. Then we have Rourke, who's from Call of Duty Ghosts. And then we have Seraph, who's from Black Ops 3.
You're these names, I don't know anything about these people. I did see that and I was confused because I just thought this was a helicopter. I didn't really understand the significance of the people that were coming out, but it seems like they're really digging deep into the bowels of their storylines to really try to make this the quintessential. I'm trying to think of like a Marvel movie or something where it's like Thanos is leading the expert thieves. Like, what is I'm trying to think of like the pop culture reference that is like all the bad guys come back.
Like Batman, fucking 4, and they bring back Joker and
Penguin, all of them. Yeah. It feels like that, and it feels like a little too little and a little too late. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I think they acknowledge, like we said at the beginning, it's really the hardcore players still playing this fucking thing. So they're the ones who've played all the standalone games. They're the ones who've played the campaigns. They're the ones who know the names. Like, A, I'm terrible with fucking names. B, I have a shit memory. Maybe it's from all the weed I smoked in college. But C, I don't remember any of these fucking guys I played pretty much all these campaigns that are listed, and then I hear like these names and saw the photos. I'm like, I don't fucking know who these people are. But that said, they're bringing them all together. And I was kind of like laughing and confused, like how exactly I want to recap the story thus far, but what exactly was it? And thankfully there was an awesome comment under this post on Twitter, which I'll read now. I forgot who said it, so apologies for not giving you credit out there, random Twitter guy. But they said, so to recap, Butcher meets Adler in a bunker in Verdansk. You remember that? You with me there when we started this off?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he tells them about fighting Nazis on Caldera. That's when we learn about
yeah.
Caldera. That basically was season 1 and 2 of Vanguard Warzone. Then somehow Godzilla and King Kong and Snoop Dogg into the equation. That was season 3.
Okay.
And then everyone's fighting over this gold on this helicopter that falls. And the Terminator joined. That was season 4. That's when we kind of introduced Fortune's Keep, all that. And then now a Black Ops 2 villain from 2025 blows up the volcano, or caldera they're calling. And that's basically the cinematic story.
So is that why I've heard the rumors that Peak is going away? Tell me about this. Is that what's happening? Yeah.
As part of the cinematic, they're like dropping some nuke, it looks like, into, Caldera, I believe, is an inactive volcano or something like that. I'm not a geography major here. But yeah, so that's, like I said, the campaign essentially is tying into what's new, what's coming with season 5. And you touched on it right there. The biggest thing is they're calling it volcanic activity at Caldera. Ominous seismic activity has occurred at the peak. Avoid the lava, shooting at your feet, and watch for molten rocks, shooting sky high and back down to earth again. So they're going to do lighting changes too. So they're kind of making over the feel of Caldera. Again, Peak's getting remade. If you look at the screenshots that are out there, there's like flowing, lava rivers, all that. So what are your thoughts on this?
If you touch the lava, do you die? Is it like an out of bounds zone similar to like the water of Verdansk?
Not clear yet if it's insta death or damage or massive damage. Unsure on that.
Interesting. I curious about that. We dropped into titanium trials on Caldera, and it was very frustrating, and I was killed so quickly. I mean, I literally landed, grabbed a weapon. I actually downed a guy, but then his partner just killed me immediately. So I haven't been spending too much time on Caldera, just straight out of fear, straight out of like a childish, like the way that you don't want to look under the bed or see what's inside of the closet. That's how I feel about Caldera right now. It scares me. I'm scared. But ironically, when I go to Fortune's Keep or Rebirth Island, I'm still getting slaughtered immediately, but maybe I'm more comfortable being killed in those areas because I've been killed there so many times before. I'm curious to see what the changes are. Geographically, it's interesting because Peak is obviously the highest point on that map. If this thing implodes, or I guess, I don't know if you'd say it, if it falls down, if it creates
implodes.
I guess it'd be implodes. If it implodes and falls down, I guess like a building would implode if they were demolishing a building. So if it implodes and it creates a more flat nature, I'm curious, because that's one of the things that Caldera has always kind of hung its hat on, is that it's like this elevation change. You can jump off a peak, throw the parachute, get really a lot of different places on the map. You can evade, you can move. So I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to see what it looks like. I'm a pyrotechnic at heart, and lava is kind of, nature's greatest pyrotechnic. So I'd like to see what that looks like. But I would say that the excitement level is moderate. I wouldn't say it's overwhelmed excitement. I wouldn't say I'm underwhelmed, but I'm curious. I'm curious to see what happens there. I'm curious to see how it changes the gameplay on the map.
Well, you said it's kind of, Caldera's been your scary place, the place you don't want to go. And on top of that, Peak, the scariest of the scary. So we have avoided it. But I feel like I got to check it out with the lava, the liquid hot magma. But I don't think they're really making over the map in terms of the topography much. I don't think Peak's going to be, depressed at all or lower elevation. It's just going to be flowing with this red hot goo. They're calling it heightened volcanic activity has been recorded with a major geological event occurring at the launch of season 5, battle around the, transformed Peak. We're also going to be getting a brand new gulag. They're calling it a volcanic themed gulag. It's a face-off pit inspired by an old favorite. There are going to be new weather and lighting changes, as we said, which also, I guess, some of the lighting changes are coming to Rebirth.
I've always, they did the lighting change on Rebirth when they revamped Rebirth. That must have been 6 months ago. I can't recall the exact time frame. But when they did that, that was one of the first things I noticed and appreciated about the change, was when they made it more sunny daytime. It just like, it had different golden hue to the sun coming in. So I can appreciate that. And I hope, I'd like to, I think that may be, I guess what I'm trying to say is that may be underrated, the lighting changes. And I'm excited for that. I think that's a great change. And I think that's a great way to simply revamp the map. I mean, I'm not a game engineer, but as I like to say, I am a game developer. And I think that this is something that I would imagine is more simple to do as opposed to like doing these like widespread kind of like POI changes. This seems like something that I'm interested in, the fan base is interested in. It really changes the dynamic. It feels like you're kind of in a sense, it's kind of like a new map scenario. I remember when I dropped into Rebirth and they did those simple light changes, it was like, wow, look at this. What is going on here? So I am excited. That I think I'm more excited for than any kind of lava flow or peak depression or whatever the hell is going to happen.
Yeah, I think just purely from like an immersion, cinematic feeling of playing the game, I think it'll be cooler if it is like a duskier, darker, and then we got this cool lava kind of contrast going on. But we'll have to see.
Wait, have you confirmed or do you know, is it going to be darker or is it just lighting changes that happen? We don't know if it's going to get brighter or darker, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, we don't know, but I'm hoping and assuming they go for the dark thing. I mean, especially if this is the last season, but that's just me.
I wouldn't be surprised if they made it darker, more nighttime. Halloween rolls around, they introduce zombies on Caldera. Obviously, that's the easiest choice to mix up the playlist there. I could see.
Yep, and so we'll see. But that said, previous seasons the focus really felt like it was on the new map, on Fortune's Keep, on Rebirth. Prior to that, now they're bringing the focus back to Caldera, giving it a send off, perhaps. No word on Verdansk. I know we talked about potentially that coming back, but as we said, also the caveat was that shit takes time. It's not something you just fucking decide on a whim. So maybe they'll surprise us. But a new addition coming here as part of season 5 is called a Doomsday Station, and they said discover this seismic device, which is found within Caldera's primary battle royale game mode. You trigger the device, and enemy helicopters arrive to surround the station, deploying enemy soldiers, the AI little shits, to attack your position. You remain close to the Doomsday Station and defend yourself for a chance at earning powerful items and a unique watch, for your operator. Only one Doomsday Station will appear per match, with multiple possible spawn locations, and you have to pay $10,000 to activate it and then prepare for a thunderous fight.
Okay. Interesting. Where my mind went initially, and not to completely undercut this new situation, but what I thought when you said is that when you deploy this, when the helicopters come in, what would be a really badass airstrike situation is instead of like having a precision or a cluster, if you could deploy something that was like a defense mechanism, like a group of helicopters that protected you, that shot everybody else aside from your team in a situation. And it was almost like you're calling in reinforcement, not in the form of missiles or airstrikes, but like a helicopter brigade that I think actually has legs to it. And I'm going to just let Activision and Raven have that one. But that's where my mind went personally.
I mean, how many freebies do we got to offer before they come in and give us like a Shark Tank kind of valuation thing? Because that's a gem. Another one off the top. Like, I never had thought of that, but that's actually because they're such a little nuisance. They're not like a big problem, but to have that ability to like, okay, we're in the thick of it. I'm calling in a fucking supply chopper, these little shitheads. I feel like there's other games where you could kind of do that. I can't recall them off the top of my head. Never in Warzone. That would be a cool wrinkle. But again, it's such a good idea. They haven't employed us, so we know they don't have the brain, power to come up with that on their own. They're lacking this genius, so I'm not expecting it. But goddamn, if y'all are listening out there, look at this. This is off the knobs.
They got the pockets to employ us. They have they have the wallet that is sitting probably. It's giving them back problems how thick that wallet is. Just help yourself, help us, throw us a little cash. We're coming up with this on the fly, that, and we're not even employed yet. Like this is nothing. Yeah. Like imagine if you put us, you gave us a cup of coffee and we sat around a round table and we were to spew ideas about like what they could do, and the funny thing is they come up with ideas like this that are just not quite there. The kernel of the idea is legitimate, but they don't quite have enough to make it, something that is, exciting and ready. And I feel like we're the missing, puzzle piece in that giant 1,000-piece puzzle that can really complete the picture.
Yeah, like they got the hot wings. They fry them up good, but they're missing that special sauce, baby. They're missing that
Yeah.
final finishing touch.
How many chicken fried sandwiches have you had where it's just missing one maybe it's a little too dry, but damn, the bread's good, damn, the chicken's good, those pickles are good. But if they just had like an aioli that was superb, it's a $1 billion idea. Like, we're offering you Chick-fil-A, but you're choosing to be, I don't know, what's another like lower level
Like cafeteria food, baby.
Exactly. Like, you could be the next Chick-fil-A, you could be the next Dave's, whatever that is, spicy fucking chicken. Hot chicken, but you choose to be, the sludge that they serve at Adam Sandler's and Chris Farley's cafeteria lunch Ladyland. And unfortunately, we're the missing piece, but we're right here. We're ready. We're not going anywhere. Just, make an offer. We'll talk about it. You call our agents and we'll make something happen.
Yeah. You want that special sauce, we can spray some special sauce, all right?
Yeah, if the special sauce is what you need, I will save some for you.
Produce a gallon of it.
Yeah, without getting into too much detail, I can preserve it.
But that said, I mean, yeah, we're waiting. Like we said, the best way for us to potentially somehow maybe get influence in this fucking insane community we call Call of Duty, which is so sorely lacking a voice like ours of the amateurs, is to follow us, subscribe, spread us, get our numbers up. We're going to share them with these Call of Duty brass. I'm not fucking kidding you. You can look at our Twitter feed. They responded. They said, send us your stats when you're ready, which means like we need to get to the fucking gym and beef up before we start, like showing off our BMI, or trying out whatever it is. So y'all, that's how we'll get there. We can get some of these genius ideas maybe in, Warzone 2. But that said, there's a new addition in addition to what we just talked about, the Doomsday Station. It's called the Supply Box UAV, and I'm a little confused even after reading it. So maybe you can help me make sense of this, because they say activate the new Supply Box UAV kill streak for assistance in tracking down more items. It will mark nearby unopened supply boxes on your TAC map for around 15 seconds. You find the Supply Box UAV in supply boxes or purchase one at a buy station. So I basically, seems like it's like a little dog that leads you to like good loot, good crates. I don't really know.
Oh, it seems pretty simple to me. So essentially, I'm imagining that it's like a kill streak, right? You open a supply box and you find this little thing. When you activate it, it essentially is like a UAV, but instead of finding other enemies around you, it just notifies on your TAC map where the other supply boxes are. Wow. So they will ping like they are with like enemies, but they'll be supply boxes. So you'll see them on the map, and then your team, your comrades can go disperse and go open those supply boxes. It's essentially showing where the loot is and how to find the unopened virgin supply boxes. That makes complete sense to me. And I think that's a really nice idea. That's kind of cool. Another wrinkle. I have nothing against that. That seems cool. I wonder, my question is, you have obviously, we've had conversations. Are they gold crates? Are they red crates? Are they orange crates? Whatever. They're the legendary crates. Whatever that
orange.
That
this was set in stone. That argument was open and shut. They're orange.
Okay, so the red crates that Tron talks about, I wonder if they're showing in a different light. Do they be larger or heavier? Or are they different color? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm curious about. Does it differentiate, or is it still a blind, treasure chest search situation? But I like that idea. That seems cool. Does that make I've never heard of this, so I'm just riffing on what I think that means, but I think that I'm pretty fucking damn accurate.
Well, I mean, I'm appreciative to you for having better reading comprehension than I, because after reading it maybe 3 times, I think you're dead on balls accurate. It leads you, it's a UAV for supply crates. And at first I'm like, well, that's fucking dumb. It's pretty easy to find supply crates, but there's an added wrinkle here that's also in addition, kind of hand in hand with this, which is called a personal supply box. And they said, track down this extremely rare crate with the assistance of the supply box UAV. And if you find it, you'll be able to acquire your favorite loadout weapons in Warzone, and each squad member will get a huge XP boost as well. So that's kind of an added motivation to go and use that kill streak.
So with that being said, then there must be different visual differentiators on what it is you're seeing on your TAC map when it shows you the different crates. If there's this personal one, I'm sure it's one color or some size. Same with the red boxes or orange boxes, whatever color you choose. But and then there's obviously like the black or blue ones. Interesting. That I like that. I mean, that's another wrinkle. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope they had a way to differentiate it. Otherwise, it's going to be your fucking tack map's going to be lit up because there's so many crates going on.
If they're not differentiating that, this again is another suggestion we're providing that is going to make the game better. It's unbelievable. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're already listening already now. Like, there's got to be like, I wouldn't be surprised they got 10, 12, 20 people listening to our podcast. They're like, hey, Jimmy, hey, Timmy, you guys listen to the Warzone Amateur Hour. We're going to take some notes. Give us the highlights. What are Tron and the Cowboys saying about what should be done? And then they go and implement it. Because in the history of this podcast, they have taken verbatim the words that we've spewed out of our little mouths, and they've done it for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, a common thing, they'll say to like aspiring screenwriters is you want to get ideas? You go fucking read the newspaper every day. You'll find the ideas there. Well, in the Warzone community, in Activision, like, you want to fucking go ideas? Go listen to this podcast. These guys are dropping gems. We're having a hard time keeping up with them, but if you can maybe take some of them, that's gold right there.
Yeah. The best and the brightest are hosting this podcast. We're too busy to listen to it, but let's have the interns listen to it. That's basically what's happening.
That's right. That said, there is a final new addition aside from weapons, which we will get to as well. But before we reveal this, which is called the Rage Serum, and share the details, it's time to share a word from our sponsors. Gentlemen, all men strive for gold in their lives, and women, because as you know, we have a female listenership, clearly. Whether it's gold medals, gold watches, gold everything. However, there's a certain type of man that goes the extra mile. He walks with confidence of an eagle and giggles in the face of danger. He's a big, hairless, winning machine. I won't get to the rest, but Manscaped would like to announce that their biggest and best ultimate hygiene bundle, the Platinum Package 4.0, is available, and it's now available in Australia, actually. So if you're there down under, we got the goodies for you. Manscaped's the leader in below-the-waist grooming, and now you can trust them with your whole shebang. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com, using the code WAH for 20% off and free shipping.
I feel like there's the Manscaped reads are well written. Let's just put it that way. But I feel like there's a huge miss there with Down Under and them now offering to Australia, like, clean up the Down Under, like down, you know what I mean? And I feel like typically in like we have a pretty large Australian user base. Don't take this the wrong way. You motherfuckers are hairy. And I don't know if that's because you guys got a lot of sun down there and like you got to grow it out to block it. Typically, when I got my big old beard, my big old mustache, I don't have to put sunscreen on my face. Maybe there's some correlation between like the sun that's intense down there and like your abnormally hairy bodies. But, I would believe that we're now in the wintertime in Australia, down south, and down under. You got to take care of that down under, and you got to fucking clean that shit up. You don't need the hair to block the sun essentially now. So do yourself a favor, hit the Platinum Package. What's the discount our listeners get, Tron? Is it 10%?
20% off and free worldwide shipping.
20% off? You go over there, you're going to save yourself a fucking... What's the... God, I'm untraveled. What is... it's the Australian dollar, right?
I don't think it's dollary dues, but not sure on that. That said,
it's not didgeridoos.
Certainly don't want to generalize an entire population of folks in terms of their grooming habits, so let me just preface that.
Okay, well, then, yeah, okay.
But that said, the Platinum Package 4.0, it's going to give you the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Ultra Premium body wash, the Ultra Premium 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, the Ultra Premium deodorant, the Crop Preserver anti-chafing ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver ball spray toner, anti-chafing boxers, and the Shed travel bag.
We're lucky enough, we're fortunate enough. Manscaped sent us a few of these things, and I have two of the Manscaped products. I think they're the Lawnmower 4.0. They're typically for your balls and your pubic region. I got two of them. I got one of them that I made a little like a little bit of a tag on it. I got the what is it called? Like the little writer that like prints out the little, it's like a
clip.
quarter.
Yeah, the little the guard.
No. It's like a writing device. You can print out names on it. It's like a labeler, essentially, like a miniature labeler for things. So I put one that says balls on it, and I put one that says face on it. So I got two of them. One's for my face and one's for my balls. And I know that they typically go for like the nether region, but I will just straight up say this as a guy that likes to trim his mustache all the time and his face. Their ball package, the trimmer for your ball sack, is as efficient for your face as it is your balls. I use it all the time. Don't think I'm a weirdo that like, fucking shaves my balls and then goes right to my face. I got two of them. We're sponsored by them, trust me. And I got another one that goes to my face. So if you guys are trying to trim up your face too, I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't know if they're marketing in that direction, but I love it for the face as well. It's so easy on the skin. I use this product. What else do you want from us? I use the product on my most sensitive areas. How about that?
Well, what else do we want is for you to go to manscaped.com, and if you make a purchase, use the code WAH, as in Warzone Amateur Hour. And what we also want is Lady Cowboy, if you're out there, go to those trimmers, take the labels, swap them, and let us know how it goes.
Let's not do that. No, I could get pink eye or something. I don't know.
Okay, well, that said, let's return now to the cliffhanger here to the rest of the episode. All right, so yes, this new edition is called Rage Serum, and the way they describe it, which they always try to make it so fucking dramatic, is while engaged in a multitude of nefarious activities at the Doomsday Station, forces aligned with Raul Menendez appear to have discovered a new mineral at the core of Caldera. This mineral, when combined with additional chemicals and distilled, increases the volatility of those who inject it, known as the Rage Serum. Recon operators have reported small crates of the serum being shipped around the island. So the gist is it's a field upgrade that allows you to become violently unstable, resulting in a viciously effective boost to your close quarters fighting. They're shown to have superior melee damage, increased lunge distance, and enhanced stun power while fighting with melee weapons or fists. However, defensive forces have confirmed that while affected by Rage Serum, an operator becomes louder and seems to recoil with more confusion while stunned or flashed.
So This is literally you become the Hulk, right? This is what this is. You become like a little miniature Hulk. You like puff your chest, you get more aggressive, you can beat people to death. It doesn't enhance any kind of weapon ability. You just become the Hulk. That's what this sounds like.
To me, yeah, or like you're on crack.
Or yeah, crack cocaine, yeah. So this is again an 80s throwback to Terminator. We're coming back full circle to crack.
Yeah, exactly. You're on like meth or some sort of methamphetamine. You're gacked out. You could melee. It sounds like they want you to use fucking melee weapons and like get kung fu with these motherfuckers in close quarters. But then if they hit you, you're all like, fucking, what's going on?
Like if you get a sledgehammer, you drop him with a sledgehammer with that's the move.
Yeah. So this is, I don't think they've ever added anything close to this before. So I'm curious to see this in the hands of a sweat lord. Like, do they like it? Do they fear it? Because I mean, if they're in close quarters and you got this as an amateur, I wonder if it'll give you the edge to like take some motherfuckers down. But it's a wild addition. Curious to see how this one plays out.
Does it give any insight into what like the damage is for meleeing, or is it just kind of like a broader announcement?
It's just broader, it says deal more damage, stun effects are more, your lunge damage, all that. So no real specifics beyond that yet.
Got it. Okay. Well, we'll see. Maybe this will be an amateur move. And
then finally, in terms of season 5 additions, we're going to be getting some new weapons, and there's a trickle of new weapons early on. As we said, it was usually 1 or 2. This season, though, final season of the year, they're giving us 5 weapons according to Warzone Loadout. I'm not sure where he's seeing this because I didn't see it in the patch notes, but again, I can't read so good. But that said, the new weapons that are coming are going to be the EX1, which is an assault rifle, the RA225, which is an SMG, the Valois revolver, which is a pistol, the BP50, which is another AR, and the Liena 57, which is another AR. He goes into detail about all of them. I'm not going to do that because I don't know which ones are out first, all that bullshit. But if they're good, we will talk about them after we get our asses kicked.
So is this a season 5 drop? What's the timeline here?
We don't know. I don't know like which come straight with the battle pass, which are coming mid-season. I didn't see it again in the patch notes, and it's not worth it to me because I'll find that out. You find out what you need to know from the community basically by how much you get shit on. Like you get shit on enough by a weapon, you're clearly like, okay, I need to level up and get that.
100%. So we'll figure that out next time. But again, season 5 is when they're coming out.
Season 5, this is coming again 2 days after the launch of this episode, August 24th, 2022. The release date. I'm unsure if they'll do a season 5 reloaded, because that brings us to the next bit. Like, I feel like we're in a transitional period in Warzone and Call of Duty, which, you know, consequently, we can't shake it. We're in the same type of thing here on the Warzone Amateur Hour, where I feel like we get through this stuff going on in Warzone, but really what's exciting is what's coming. And there was a lot of info coming along with that this week. We have definitive dates, my friends. So your calendars have been kind of here and there getting some marks on it. We'll get the fucking red Sharpie out. Get ready to mark down some fucking dates, because they have made it official here. And first off, they announced that there's going to be an early access available for campaign. So it was already said you would get beta access by pre-ordering. Well, now you're also going to get early access to play the campaign over a week early on October 20th. You'll be allowed to. It's available on all platforms for all digital pre-orders.
Okay.
But the bombshell, my friend, which not confirmed, but as we've said, these leakers are fucking hacking in there. They're Mr. Robot. Like, clearly, they know what's going on. We've been talking about Warzone 2. Coming this year, they've alluded to. Well, guess what? According to an internal document image that leaked, Warzone 2 will be launching, they claim, on November the 16th.
November 16th, Warzone 2. You heard it here first, hopefully. Really, November 16th. That's 2 months, 3 months away.
It's so close, you can almost taste it. I mean, when I heard by the end of the year Warzone 2 is coming, I think we both figured, got to be December, maybe even last week of December. But no, this would mean that it's coming less than a month after Modern Warfare 2 drops. So it's almost like 2 weeks almost after. So it's like you get 2 weeks of Modern Warfare and then you drop into the brand new fucking Warzone. I don't know about you, but I cannot believe this. I'm hyped. I got my advent calendar now dialed in. I'm going one box at a fucking time, and we're headed there.
I'm ready for it. Let's just put it that way. I'm ready for November 16th. I love it.
So I hope I heard in the background there the squeaking of that Sharpie on that little calendar marking that November 16th. But to recap, it's going to be kind of badass here in the coming weeks here. We got like markers along the way. You know, we're on the beaten path. We're on the Oregon Trail. We're on the precipice of coming up over the pass and seeing the Sierra Nevadas, the bosom of the California bounty here. And that's, so first up, September 15th, first date. That's going to be Call of Duty next. We're going to be able to get to see for the first time Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. Get a sense of the gunsmith, the guns, the recoils, all these questions we have. So many things that are going to inform the experience of Warzone 2 going to become apparent. Next, so that's September 15th, Cowboy. You with me? Any thoughts on that before I move on?
No, keep going. Lay it out.
Then the following day, September 16th through the 20th, that's when the Modern Warfare 2 PlayStation beta is going live. So if you pre-ordered or got your little grubby hands on a code, you'll be able to drop into the beta the day after that. September 15th, Call of Duty next. September 16th, Modern Warfare 2 PlayStation beta. Then a week later, September 22nd, that's when the crossplay beta goes live until the 26th. Then roughly a month later on October 20th, you get campaign early access. A week after that, October 28th, the first kind of bomb dropping, Modern Warfare 2 hits the shelves. We go live, we drop in, we get fucking shredded in the new universe. And then 2 weeks roughly after that, as we said, November 16th, Warzone 2 dropping. So, holy shit.
A lot going on there. A lot of excitement. A lot of stuff to talk about on the pod.
And I haven't shelled out the $70, but I mean, with this kind of pipeline coming down the hatch, these kind of enticing things and the community we got, I gotta believe I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be part of this. I'm gonna be along for every step of the fucking ride.
Hell yeah. With that being said, subscribe to our Patreon. We'd really love to be able to afford to purchase the new Modern Warfare 2 to set us up with all the things we need for Warzone 2. Just a little selfless, shameless self-promotion there.
That's right. That's how we're going to end it this week with some shameless self-promotion. Please like, subscribe, follow wherever you get your podcast. Listen, download multiple times. We've hit a little bit of a plateau, which we need the community. Tell your friends to get these calendar dates going. Get them hyped, and tell them to fucking listen to our podcast. But we love you all. We love you who took part in our live call-in episode last week, who've been commenting, sharing news with us on Twitter, on Discord, all over the place. We love you, but we got to keep growing because look where we're headed. The bomb's about to explode.
Big time. Boom. Let's do it.
So that, as I said, is going to wrap it all up. We will be following you next week, talking to you then in the middle, or not the middle, but at the launch of Season 5. We'll be sharing our first impressions with y'all next week. Hopefully have a little bit more info on some of these specifics, some of these questions. So that said, we're going to talk to you then, and until then,
Good luck in the gulag.